Hi, I'm Adam Maverick Asenza. You're on GDCMMA.com. Stay tuned.
All right, Garrett here for GDCMMA. Lucky guy today. I get to hang out with two future champions. Ryan Dickson here. Getting excited for this Saturday's card, 165 in Toronto, and the UFC tryouts that are going to be taking place there as well, or in Canada. So I went over some fights with Josh Hill. We're going to go over some fights with Ryan and see what he makes of it all. So I've got some specific fights outlined here, Ryan, for you, and I want to see what your take on things is. And I really like the way you break down fights, so maybe we can talk specifics that way. Jesse Ronson versus Mikhail Prazeres. How do you think this goes down?
Well, Jesse's my friend. He's helped me with some of my fights in the past, and I was training with him a couple weeks ago before my last fight, and he looks very good. This is a classic striker versus grappler matchup, where Prazeres is literally, his nickname is the Tractor. He's short, he's compact, he's extremely strong for the division, but he does not have good movement and does not have very good strikes to get in on takedowns. He literally just blitzes for the takedown. And a guy like Ronson isn't just a striker. Like, if you were looking at a classic Muay Thai striker that just stands there in the pocket, then I would give it to the Tractor, Prazeres, all day long. But Ronson has some of the best footwork I've seen for MMA. He's got good footwork for just pure striking, and he uses it to get some of the angles that piss guys off, and they can't deal with it. Right? He's hard to take down. He's fought wrestlers before. The last guy he just fought Shane Campbell, but the guy he fought before that, one of the Healy brothers, is classic, strong, grinding wrestler, and he couldn't do anything against Ronson. So I think Ronson takes this one by TKO stoppage in the second round.
Interesting. I've already said my predictions, but super excited for this fight, especially for Ronson, because I've seen him fight live a few times, and I feel the same way. I think he's an amazing striker. He's got awesome movement, and his kicks. I'm looking forward to that. I don't know how many he'll be throwing here, but it'll be a good fight. All right, moving on. Someone else you're familiar with, Mitch Gagnon versus Dustin Camara. What do you think happens here?
Mitch is another one of my friends. I think he was supposed to fight a little while ago, but he had an injury, so he's extremely hungry to get in there. He's looking more fit and strong than ever, and this is a grappler versus grappler matchup, and Mitch is a truck of a 135er. I think that Dustin won't be able to take Mitch down, and Mitch is going to ground and pound or submit him in probably the second round.
Cool. Yeah, I don't see this going any other way than Gagnon winning. Another fight, again, I'm super interested in, and there's some flashiness here, and a guy that's coming back. Will ring rust play a part? Who knows? Chris Clements versus Stephen Thompson.
Chris Clements has been, he actually came down to train with me before my fight to help me out, and then he was getting help from my coach Jeff with some grappling. And man, this guy is strong as hell for 170. I think he's gonna overpower Wonderboy. I think it's gonna be a fancy fight because both guys like to do some pretty crazy stuff on the feet. But I don't think it's gonna be a striking fight, to be honest. I think Wonderboy's gonna try and take Chris down on the cage like he's done the last two fights, and Chris on the cage is extremely strong. He could surprise Wonderboy by submitting him. He's got some pretty sneaky stuff, and I'm looking forward to seeing him beat Wonderboy by finish. Not sure how though, not sure when, but he's going to finish him.
Very cool, very cool. Yeah, you know what? I'm hoping that this could be the sleeper for fight of the night. I think it's got the potential to be that way for sure. Okay, a fight that I know you're going to be excited about because I know you appreciate these Russians as much as I do, and I know you're familiar with Pat Healy. So it's Pat versus Habib Nurmagomedov.
Oh man, the Healy brothers are tough as hell, but Habib with 20-0 or whatever, 21-0 now maybe, and his wrestling technique, I think he's gonna put on a show, a wrestling clinic. He's gonna do what he did last fight and just launch Healy, because Healy will want to engage or naturally, instinctively engage and get in a clinch war because that's his thing. But Habib's on another level. He was world sambo champion, I think, and those Russian guys that's they're naturally, they do that since they're kids, and he proved it last fight that he's got some ridiculous throws, he's got awesome wrestling, he's really well rounded. I think Khabib wins this fight pretty decisively.
Yeah, I think I went the other way I went that way, just sort of disagreeing with Josh, but I do feel that way. I love watching these guys fight, him and Habilov and all these guys. They're wrestling, it's phenomenal. It's in some ways, like the chain, the way they go at it is Askren-like. You know, I think it's really interesting, and I'd actually love to see one of those guys, depending on the weight class, go against someone like Askren and see what happened.
Plus the O on that record is a big deal. A lot of people see the O and it's impressive, but for the person that has that whatever an O record, they don't know how to lose yet. And a guy that hasn't lost, I think he'll fight a little bit harder to keep that O than the guy that already has a couple losses on his record.
For sure, it means a lot at this point. I mean, a couple more wins for him, and you never know, a title shot
I think
could
so.
start to be talked about. Okay, so 2 more fights here. We've got Renan Barão versus Eddie Wineland. Both the co-main event and the main event, the odds are just totally skewed to one side. How do you think this plays out?
I think the odds are correct. I think Barão has the longest winning streak going in MMA, and that's for a reason. He's won all of his fights pretty much by striking lately, but he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. He's very, very big for the weight class. Wineland's he's not a one-trick pony, but in this case, his only advantage is in the boxing, while Barão can even that striking out by throwing the kicks and stuff like that. And then on the ground and pure size, I think he's got too big of an advantage to take it. And he's got a great camp that he works with, so I think Renan Barão wins it pretty decisively.
Yeah, I'm just hoping for an entertaining fight here. And the main event, again, I just hope for an entertaining fight. John Jones versus Alexander Gustafsson. Can you see anything but a John Jones first or second round defeat?
It's interesting because Gustafsson is actually a little bit taller than Jones, so the size element isn't there for Jones like it normally is. Like normally Jones is so much taller, it's so obvious and it's such an advantage, but this fight he doesn't have that. But having said that, I don't think Gustafsson's got the tools that Jones has. Jones has too big of a wrestling advantage. He can decide where the fight's going to go. And like Phil Davis, I think he's just going to take Gustafsson down and smash him out.
Yeah, I mean, Gustafsson has been working for quite some time to improve that wrestling, but I just don't think it compares to John whatsoever. All right, awesome. Well, I appreciate it, Ryan. We're looking forward to 165 this weekend. Garrett from GDCMMA, Ryan Dickson, take care.